Hey, Em. How are you doing, girl? It's your dad, Miguel. It is the 21st of August, 2019. And I just wanted to say hi. Sorry, I'm a little sweaty. I just got done doing my my dishes. And, that means that was, stooping over the sink and I had hot water going and the suds were floating in the air. And I was moving dishes around and silverware, and so that's work, man. It's work. I don't have a dishwasher, and in a way, I'm glad. I've had dishwashers in the past, and they haven't been that effective. And the reason is, or at least part of the reason is that the water here, at least the water that was at Vandenberg Village, was pretty hard. And what that meant is that the hard minerals would dry on the surface of the glasses, and I wasn't able to figure out a way to sort of deal with that. I'm guessing that there probably is some kind of um, sort of solution out there that takes the minerals out of water or something like that. But I'm not sure what it is. I mean, I know that there are soft water delivery type machines that do that. But I never did invest the time or the energy or the money in order to make that a reality in the house. And, it's fine because doing dishes is actually good for you. It's a workout, right? It's like going to the gym, except you're at home. Anyway, I don't know if you can tell this, but I'm in a really good mood. I'm in a really good mood. I'm in a really good place right now. And I've been in a good place for about 4 years now. And I'm so grateful to be in that good place. I mean, it really means the world to me. And oh, today, in fact, something else happened that was pretty amazing. I had a wonderful workout today. I had made a lot of improvements in a lot of my exercises. Like I made improvements in, well, I don't know, I made improvements on the skier too, which is a cardiovascular exercise machine that is very similar to the motion that people make when they go cross country skiing. Um, I also made progress in some chest exercises, which I'm really proud of. I made some progress in some bicep exercises, which I'm really proud of. And it's such a mystery to me about why my body chooses to sometimes be amazing and break all my physical records, and then why sometimes it doesn't. I mean, why can't I break physical records every time I'm in the gym? Like, what's up with that? So I'm analyzing my diet and what I've drunk and what supplements I've taken, and I just can't come up with it. The answer might just be the frequency of my workouts, because I've worked out, I mean, every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Actually, I've only worked out 3 days in a row. So I always work out 3 days in a row. So I really don't know what is the cause of all this good karma when it comes to my exercise routine. Why do I feel so gosh darn good? Is it that I've gotten in a lot of sleep? Is that it? I don't know. Sometimes there's just no telling about why that is. Is it because I've been eating a lot of calories? I don't know. I haven't been eating any more than I usually do. Well, not much more. I've eaten a little bit more, but it hasn't been that significant, honestly. I don't get it. I have had a little bit extra chocolate. Could it be that easy? Could it be eating chocolate improves my cardiovascular system or my physiology so much that it makes that much of a difference in my workouts? I don't think so. I didn't have that much chocolate. I have been eating a lot of frozen yogurt lately, though. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the frozen yogurt. It's so funny. I really wish that owning a human body was a little bit more predictable than it is. You know, I love it when great things happen, but to the body, but I'm not often sure why they happen. You know, it just may be that I've just been in a really good mood lately. Maybe that's it. I have been in a fabulous mood lately. Certainly in the last 24 hours. Why? I don't know. There's so many things about the human body, the human brain that I do not understand. So I read an article today about medicine, and it relates to a new discovery that some scientists have made when it comes to figuring out more about how the communication between the infant fetus or the fetus and the mother. And it turns out that there are these cells that have vacuoles in them. I think they didn't use that term, vacuole. That would be a term used for plant cells. But there are these, what I'd call chemical communication transmitters, right? And they're packaged in some form. And there's communication between the fetus and the mother. And it just blew me away. Just blew me away. It's this kind of communication which, from the child to mother, tells the mother that the child is ready to be born, right? That the organs have matured. And then when that communication is complete, the mother's body starts the birthing process. But there are other communications that happen between the fetus and the mother. Some communications are indicators that things are not going well with the fetus. And then there's this inflammation process that starts, and the baby is exits the womb prematurely. And so, but everything is dependent on these chemical processes that happen. You know, there's these chemical communications between the fetus and the mother. And it's just mind-blowing that we even know about this stuff. And I love the direction of the scientists. They're all about figuring out ways to, help bring fetuses to term, right? For normal pregnancy. And that's pretty amazing stuff. I mean, wow. Here's the thing about what's going on in the world of technology today. I am continuously getting my mind blown. There's so many facts about how the world is changing right now. It's just, there's just explosions of technological discovery happening all over the place. I'm so privileged to be able to watch it as it's happening. It's like there's like a supernova of innovation and creativity and technology integration going on right now. It's just faster than I've ever seen it happen. There's just so many wonderful things going on right now. It just takes my breath away. Really, it sort of overtakes me with just awe and wonder about what is possible and what's going on. Anyway, I just feel so fortunate to sort of have my finger on the pulse of some of the things that are going on. This innovation is just, it's outstanding. What's going on with autonomous vehicles? I'm just bowled over by it, and I'm so pleased it's going at the pace that it's going. I wish it were going a little faster, honestly. I was thinking about my car today. My car it's a Toyota Sienna minivan, and it's a 1999, and it's got like 311,000 miles on it. Yeah, I think it has more than that. I think it might be like 313,000 miles, which is a lot of miles for a gasoline engine. Not for a diesel engine, but for a gasoline engine, that's a lot of miles. And somehow the mechanics which I've hired have managed to patch that engine together and keep it running. And I'm so glad, because I love it. Basically, I love this car. And if it dies, I'm gonna have to get another one. I'm just gonna buy another Toyota Sienna minivan. I mean, there's my choice has already been made, right? And so all I'm doing is delaying the inevitable, right? That is the time when I spend money to buy another vehicle, and I can't wait to see what vehicle I'm going to buy next. I think it'll be like a 2005, 2006 Toyota Sienna minivan. Oh man, that's going to be an amazing vehicle. It's going to be about 7 years later after the manufacture of my minivan, and looking forward to seeing all the design changes and all that stuff. But I still want that form factor, the minivan form factor. I'm loving it. Now, if I had $1 million, I would most definitely buy a different minivan. First off, I might probably just buy, if I had $1 million, I'd probably just buy a brand new Toyota minivan, a 2019, 2020 version. I could do that. That would be entirely reasonable. If I had $1 million, one other thing that I might buy might be like one of those Mercedes-Benz Sprint vans that are all decked out with recreational vehicle specs. Yeah, that'd be amazing. I'd love to have like a shower and a big bed and a audio-visual system and all those luxuries that come with those Sprint vans. But alas, I'm not a millionaire. I may be one of these days, but I am not right now, which is okay. I'm fully content with what I have and grateful for being that content. There are a lot of people who make a lot more money than I do and who are not content. But I'm fully content. I mean, I'm fully content. That's probably not so good from like what I'd call a law of attraction standpoint, because I'm not necessarily attracting more wealth. I'm passing on the wealth, but in exchange, I'm accepting more and more joy into my life. So that's the trade-off, at least for me, and I'm willing to take that trade-off. Fact is, I don't need $1 million. $1 million would be nice, but I don't need it. And you know what? I know that with money comes problems. More money, more problems. And that's the truth, man. Now, that also means there's more solutions. There's a lot more solutions with more money. So you get a ratio of problems and solutions with more money. And so, it's all relative, really. And I'll tell you what, a lot of it has to do with your own perceptions. I mean, it's not real. I mean, what's so great about life? There's a lot of things about life. Let me tell you a little bit about life and what's so wonderful about it. One of the greatest things about life is that it fades away. I know it's also one of the worst things about life, but it's one of the greatest things about life. Every mistake I've made has faded away. Every error I've made fades away. Every loss I've had fades away. It just does. I don't know. That's something about the arrow of time. Something about entropy and the direction of the universe. I don't know. But things fade away. Like the dinosaurs, 65 million years ago, faded away. And that's just what nature is. So whatever happens, whatever you've got, like you've got the measles, eventually that'll all fade away. But of course, then you might fade away too. It's good and bad, but it's also quite good that things just fade away. And it's great if you have the ability to continue to stay alive for a while. I'm so grateful that human lifespan is in the 100 of years, is about 80 to 100 years. It gives me something to shoot for. Regrettably, I'm about halfway through that. Eventually, I'll be fading away. About 50 years of my lifespan has faded away. But I've enjoyed many minutes of it. Maybe not. I've enjoyed I've enjoyed a good portion, a solid, a solid, a solid bit of that life that I have had. I'm, of course, just exaggerating a little bit, but I've enjoyed a whole heck of a lot of it, and so I'm glad for that. And a lot has faded away. There's a lot I don't remember. I know I look at photographs of me when I was a boy. I've got a few of them on the wall over there, and that person is gone. That little kid, the 5-year-old is gone. The 7-year-old is gone. The 12-year-old is gone. The 18-year-old is gone. I have the pictures. I've got the photos. But that's all I got. The rest is gone. Even my memories, right? A lot of my memories are gone. Some of them aren't. I have a handful of memories. I'm glad to have them. But I'll tell you what, my brain is really just fully occupied about thinking about the present and the near future, and sometimes even the far future. That's where my brain is. Fact is, life is tough, right? Life is hard. It takes organization, skill, energy, thoughtfulness, consideration, strategy. To live on the planet Earth takes effort, mental effort, and my brain only has so much capacity, right? I would love to be a genius. I would love to be able to carry on conversations in 3 different languages at the same time. But that's not available to me. My brain has limits. And, it was only able to collect a few memories here and there, a handful. I'm thankful for whatever time I spent reminiscing about those memories, but they're a finite number. I think it's so funny that I remember in the past people would say that the human brain remembers everything. And I love how optimistic that is. That's like, oh, wow. What a wonderful idea. Like, oh yeah. The brain remembers everything. It's very much like a platitude where people might say that, I don't know, there's a reason for everything. These are wonderful sentiments. And at times I'm foolhardy enough to believe them, but not right now. So anyway, I'm still sweating up a storm over here. Here's the thing. It's almost wintertime. Well, it's fall, almost fall. And it should be getting cooler. And it is getting a little bit cooler. But my house is still packing the heat. My house, my apartment, when the sun shines during the day, it just, heats up these bones in the walls, right? It heats it up. There's a heat capacity of the wood, and the wood is very, very good. I've got this tar roof, this black roof, right, on this apartment complex, absorbing literally every frequency of the spectrum of radio frequency and radio, of light, coming in from the sun. This huge fireball, the nuclear fireball, that's 8 minutes away. If you travel the speed of light, this roof, this building is basically absorbing all of that energy because of the black tar surface. And then through conductivity, it's conducting all that heat energy through the walls and through the floors all day long. And so when nighttime comes around, the sun goes down, these walls are still radiating infrared radiation, like gangbusters. And so I'm sweating here. It's funny. It's funny. So what's going on with me? Okay, I had a fantastic time yesterday. I went to my photography class, and I'm taking a class 110. It's a section 110, photography 110. at Allen Hancock College. It is a film class where I'm learning how to take pictures with a film camera, not a digital camera, but a film camera, an old-fashioned film camera. And I'm going to be using that film and developing it myself in a legit bona fide dark room. That's what they tell me. That's what's on the syllabus. Which reminds me, I need to sign up for a class that gets me extra lab time on Fridays. So there's a lot of people in this class. There's like 30 people in this class. There may not be 30. Maybe there's 25. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's 22. I don't know. There's a large number of kids, and they're each going to be doing their projects in the dark room. I'm a little concerned that I might not have enough time to do the developing that I want to do. And thankfully, the university has decided to offer some more lab time if I sign up for more credit hours, which I think I'm willing to do because I have a feeling that this is going to take time. Here's the thing. A lot of these kids don't know what a dark room is. They have no clue. They were born, a lot of these kids, I'm serious, were born after the year 2000. These folks, just after the year 2000, these folks are Gen X. No, they're not Gen X. They're not even millennials. They're Gen Z. Oh my gosh. These kids don't even remember, the students in my class, most of them don't even remember what happened at New Year, 2000, when we were fearing the apocalypse because of computers and their digital calendars and their timepieces, and the software not being able to handle it. I forget what that was called, but yeah, these kids have no conception. They've got no conception of the space shuttle other than in ancient history books. And I mean, I love it. I love them. I love them to death. They're just the greatest. It's just how, their popular culture is culture that I'm not even familiar with. They're talking about Yu-Gi-Ohs and who knows what they're talking about. But these Gen Z folks, love them to death. But these Gen Z folks, these Gen Z kids, they don't know much about film, right? They have a conceptualization of what film is. They may have seen a film camera, like a 35 millimeter camera, but many of them have never taken a photograph with a film camera, naturally. They've only taken digital photographs. They've got their smartphone. They don't know anything about this old-fashioned technology. I mean, I used to have a film camera, and I used to take photographs using film camera. Kodak Kodachrome, 400 speed, right? And then I would go to the photo booths. And I remember a time even before photo booths, before these, oh my gosh, remember the kiosks? You probably don't because you're Gen Z, but there were these kiosks that were in the middle of parking lots that people sat in all day receiving canisters of film, only for temporary storage location until that film got delivered off to a delivery truck. And oh my gosh, I remember that. And I even remember before the kiosks, there were photo labs where people would, hand over their rolls of film over the counter, and then we get our photos developed. And it would take time, it would take like 3 days later, 4 days later, we'd have our photographs. It wasn't instantaneous. And and you only had like 24 or 36 pictures to take in a roll. And getting this film developed cost money. I mean, it wasn't cheap. And maybe it was. I guess it depends on your financial level of security, but this is ancient history for a lot of people. And it's true. I mean, it was like 40 years ago, I'm talking about 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Actually, it's longer than 20 years ago. So, in fact, when my teacher, my photography teacher, started talking about the availability of some of this stuff, I was like, what? People are actually using film cameras? And no, it's true. I know that people are using film cameras sometimes. These artists, they're artists that are using medium format cameras, like Ansel Adams, although I think he might have passed away. Hey Google, has Ansel Adams passed away?
Ansel Adams died in the community hospital of the Monterey Peninsula on April 22nd, 1984.
1984. Oh my gosh. So that was a long time ago. Oh my gosh, 84. So this is, thankfully I'm taking this photography class because now I'm getting to know a little bit more about when Ansel Adams died. 84, that was such a long time ago. That's how long it's been since I've checked in with Ansel Adams. Now, it's wow. What's amazing to me is that there might be kids who are Gen Z who have no idea who Ansel Adams is. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. Oh my gosh. What a treat. Oh my gosh. It's kind of funny. Now, I'm not even that old. There are plenty of people who are a lot older than me, and there are many people who are twice as old as me. I know it's hard to believe. It's true. There are people who are over twice as old as me who are alive in the world. And I can only imagine them laughing as hard as I'm laughing about Kodachrome film. I can imagine people thinking, these older folks remembering when maybe cameras first came out, right? Well, maybe not, but maybe they did, like in the 1920s or something like that, 1930s, when people were taking, who knows what people were taking photos with back then. But maybe these people remember that. So, oh gosh, time is flying by. And what's kind of interesting is that I think time is flying by faster than it ever has been flying by for me. I think I read an article that explained why time seems to move faster for older people. And I think it had to do with the human brain and its attention span. Its attention. Apparently, I think the nerves slow down a little bit. There's the impulses slow down by a few microseconds every year. And it's just like a movie theater frame, right? In an old-fashioned movie theater, when the shutter slows down, there's more delay between each image popping up on the projection screen. And so the awareness is diminished. It's lessened. Whereas kids, like babies, who have really fast shutter speed, things go very slow for them because they're taking in all this information. It's just, they're just inhaling all this information and they're able to process it in their brains. These older folks, we're not processing this information that quickly. It takes time for us to move step by step through just conscious awareness of the reality around us. And so we lose it. we lose our ability to take in all the information as we grow older, and it appears as if time is going faster. It's just our brains getting weaker and weaker until they go kaput, right? Yeah. It seems to me that it might be relatively easy to speed up this pattern of brain rhythm so that I get to experience more of daily life. You know, I think it happens when like adrenaline hits the system. I know I've heard experiences of people where time slows down, and you know that my guess it might be just a natural consequence of a hormonal uh, release of adrenaline, and the brain is just, you know, it's trying to take in as much information as possible in this state where the juices are flowing, and you know, I really think that might be part of it. So I wonder if there is a component of, say, adrenaline that can shift the brain into overdrive. If that's the case, and if I had my druthers, I would actually really love that to happen. I would love to experience more of the present moment, right? I'd love my brain to be faster, more efficient. I'd love my brain to be younger. What can I do to make my brain younger? Eat more cauliflower and broccoli, I think. Well, we'll see what happens. Become an adrenaline junkie. There you go. Ride more roller coasters. That's how it goes. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that because I tell you, I have ridden a lot of roller coasters this year, and I'm not necessarily sure that riding roller coasters is good for your brain because here you are in the roller coaster, right? On that train, back and forth on that track, and your brain is like, it's my poor. So I feel sorry for my brain sometimes. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time, but I think my biology, my brain, the brain itself, is probably not having the best time. I can imagine that brain and brain stem just sort of wiggling around in there inside my skull as I take all these accelerations and go in the loop to loops. Yeah. Yeah. So I wouldn't call that adrenaline that great for the brain. You know, there's a cost and a benefit, right? Anyway, that's funny. So I don't know. I've just been feeling fantastic lately. I've really enjoyed this photography class so far. I seem to have this outstanding teacher. Oh my gosh. He is such a pro. And in fact, almost sad that he's got the class that he's got because these guys, these poor millennials, these poor Gen Z folks, they just, they're like, what are we even talking about? Film cameras? What's that? Such ancient technology. I imagine some of them might be thinking, am I in the wrong class? Hey, this is like a introductory photography class. So naturally, these kids don't know much about it, um, but the teacher is a bright teacher, and I have a feeling I'm going to learn a lot from him. And in fact, I'm really aching to read the textbook right now. Oh man, am I aching to read that textbook? Um, Here's the thing: as I grow older, it gets harder and harder for me to organize my life and get things done. Even though I'm more fit than I've ever been, more energetic than I've ever been, my life is also more complex than it's ever been. There is huge complexity in my life. There's work, there's relationships, there's school, and then there's just logistics, right? Getting to all the doctor's appointments, doing all the repairs and all the maintenance, doing laundry, doing household chores. Human life is complicated, and it gets more and more complicated every year. And figuring out how to do all of this work safely is a challenge. And I'm so glad that I'm still alive and that I'm up to the challenge. But wowzers, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'm really looking forward to autonomous vehicles really coming to the fore, coming into their own, because driving is one of the most risky things that I do. And if I can just take out that key element of driving, I would reduce the risk of morbidity and mortality so much in my life. And I would really like to reduce that risk. So I had a friend, I might have told you that I have an interest in doing a triathlon. And in fact, this coming Saturday morning in Santa Barbara, there is a triathlon happening, the Santa Barbara Triathlon. And I think I might go check it out because I have an interest in doing a triathlon. And I did check out the triathlon here in Lompoc, and I want to check out the triathlon in Santa Barbara, and the one in there are a few in San Luis Obispo. I want to check those out, get a sense of what kind of bikes people are riding because I want to buy a bike. Why? So that I can compete in a triathlon, right? Important stuff. So here's the thing. I love that idea. And I had a friend recently just hurt himself pretty badly on a bicycle. And he's a guy I admire. He's an amazing athlete. He's a great runner, great swimmer, great bicyclist. He does triathlons himself. And he got injured just like a couple days ago. What did he do? He was on a bicycle ride. He was driving on his bicycle about, I don't know, 20 miles an hour maybe. And he went over some railroad tracks, and it was just an easy bump, right? But somehow his tire slipped and he fell onto the pavement and he broke his collarbone in like 3 places, and I think he's also elected not to have surgery yet. So it's been a couple days, and this poor guy is struggling under the effort of just maintaining his sanity with a broken collarbone. And he was relaying to me yesterday some of the difficulties of having that problem. He was, for example, he has a standard shift in his vehicle, not an automatic. So every time he shifts the gear in his car, he's although he might have an automatic. Now that I think about it, it's just that there's a gear shift that goes from drive to reverse to park, right? I think that's what he was talking about. So it's not a manual; it is an automatic. It's just, but there's a gear shift in an automatic too. So this poor guy was experiencing pain just shifting his car from park into drive. And I feel for him, man. And his doctor said, well, we can see how it goes and come back in 12 weeks and we'll see if anything's healed. He must have just fractured his collarbone and not really, demolished it. So, he's going to try to go with the more conservative route, see if it'll heal itself. And good on him. It sounds like a reasonable decision. But in the meantime, he's got weeks and weeks and weeks of managing the pain and discomfort and some of the problems he has with sort of using his arm. Who knows if he's going to be able to swim anymore, whether he'll be able to run. I mean, a collarbone, is quite a strong support structure, when it comes to sort of keeping your shoulder aloft, right? So anyway, needless to say, this has got me to think a little bit more carefully about my desire to acquire a bicycle. That's the thing with anything with wheels, I'm tempted. I'm always tempted to get these like modes of transportation. Like I've been tempted to buy a skateboard. Right? I actually have bought a skateboard and gave it away almost immediately afterwards after I realized this is not a good thing for a nearly 50-year-old person to have. It's got wheels and it can slip. I can slip and fall and trip. And no matter what precautions I take, there's a really strong risk I could just trip and break my wrist or break my arm or break my ulna or whatever. And maybe it's best that I just don't have a skateboard. And the same is true with let's see, there was another mode of transportation that I purchased. Oh yeah, rollerblades. I figured, I can do rollerblades, right? Not a problem. Man, let me tell you, it takes some balance to do some rollerblading. And I don't know, I had a few harrowing experiences on rollerblades, and I've decided to do a lot less rollerblading. I've still got the rollerblades, I think, somewhere, but I'm doing a whole lot less rollerblading, and so that's not helping my rollerblading skills. So it's kind of funny. I don't have to. I mean, I'm certainly fit enough to engage in these modes of transportation like bicycle riding, rollerblading, and roller skating. But there's like an inherent risk. I don't think I want to take that risk. I've also purchased a surfboard, with the intent to learn how to surf because, surfing's romantic, right? I mean, I have a romantic vision of what surfing's all about. I would love to go surfing, but here's the thing. After every wave that you surf, what happens next? Well, you jump off the board onto, the beach covered in water, which you can't see through because the water's so murky. And so folks are just falling into the water after every wave, into shallow water. Get that. They're falling into shallow water every time they finish a wave. Man, that's a recipe for disaster right there. You don't know what's under the water. It could be rocks, it could be coral, it could just the sand. And when you fall, you sort of have to prepare. You have to be prepared for the next wave to come. And let me tell you, there's something about waves, which is rather unpredictable. I mean, there's nothing predictable about the ocean other than it's unpredictable. I don't know. There's a lot of risk there. It's kind of funny. A lot of things that are fun to do are really risky too. Not everything, but a lot of things are. Thankfully, there are some things that are really fun to do that aren't that risky. Dancing is a good example. Listening to music is a great example. Studying the classics, studying classical literature, that's a good example. Playing ukulele, that's a good example. Although I need to put my mind to doing it more often. So yeah, managing risk. That's what human beings do. Manage risk. That's our fate. I'll tell you why. It's because scarce resources, right? I've only got one arm. I just got one of these. If I mess it up, that's it. There's no other arm. I've only got one pointer finger. That's it. Just one. If this one goes bad on me, I'm gonna be in a world of hurt. I only got 10 fingers, man. 10 toes. That's all I got. So that's the problem, man. I've only got one meniscus. I only got one. Actually, I got two, but one on each knee. When it comes to my back, I've only got, one set of vertebrae. One L1, one L2, one L3, one L4. One C1, one C2. I know. The thing about it is, being a human being, there are not very many spare parts lying around. It's just can you spare a kidney? Can you spare a liver? Can you spare an earlobe? No, they're all being used. So there's scarcity. And yeah. I've only got one, I don't know, one skin, right? One surface organ. And if I scrape that up too much, things just won't look as good. So it's kind of funny. It takes balance. That's what being alive is. It's about the golden mean. It's like doing the stuff that you enjoy that has the least risk of trauma possible, the least risk of injury possible. I don't know. We'll see. I think it might be nice to have a bicycle. I think I can ride it and ride it slow and have a good time. Yeah. Speaking of bicycles, I've been interested in getting a bike fit, and I made an appointment to get a bike fit, but that hasn't happened yet. And the reason is because, well, the person who is scheduled to do the design fit, the fit for me, is having trouble. They are having trouble showing up to work. That's okay. I'll get fit eventually one of these days. It'll happen. So let's see what's going on in my world today. I talked about photography. I'm reading a new book. I'm reading a couple new books. I've ordered some ruby chocolate. I don't know about this. Emily, do you know about this? I don't think I've even talked to you about this, but apparently there is a new version of chocolate available in the markets today, and it's not necessarily widely available in the United States for who knows why. I don't know why, but it is available in some places. Which places? I can't tell you because I don't know. I don't know where it's available, but I was able to find some ruby chocolate online on Amazon.com, and it got put in the mail today to be delivered to me. And so I'm looking forward to receiving that package. Hopefully the chocolate makes the trip and doesn't melt. But who knows? Who knows? Hopefully I'll just be lucky and I'll win that lottery, right? I'll get the unmelted chocolate. Hopefully the chocolate is not passing through Phoenix or Tucson, Arizona, someplace that it's really hot. I think people should only order chocolate through the mail when it's wintertime. I know. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but I think there's a good chance that the chocolate won't melt as it travels through the mail. But anyway, I have an interest in trying this ruby chocolate. Here's the story of the ruby chocolate. Apparently, cocoa, just before they make chocolate, that is actually after the cocoa gets picked, I suppose. I don't know. I know so little about this. I'm making up half this information. But after cocoa or the cocoa nibs or whatever are I'm really exposing my lack of knowledge here. But after the cocoa is harvested from the berries, it gets fermented for I don't know how long, a couple days maybe. Well, ruby chocolate is made from cocoa that has not been fermented very long. Cocoa beans that have not been fermented, or actually not fermented at all. And I believe that it retains some of its reddish color because apparently there are some of the pods which are the color red, and that shines through in this chocolate. I also hear that very much like white chocolate, tends to be a lot of sugar in ruby chocolate. We'll see how that goes. But I did glance at the Wikipedia page about ruby chocolate and read through it in a way that was less than careful, as you can tell as I relate this information about ruby chocolate, and do so in a way that's vague and scattered. But I'm looking forward to giving it a try again. I've actually tried it before, and I thought that it was pretty unique and interesting, and really an enjoyable break. something new, novel, and I'm looking forward to sampling another taste of it. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap this up a little bit here. We'll wrap up this presentation. I just want to say, I want to express to you how much I love you, how much I think the world of you, how much I respect you. I respect your mind. I respect your freedom. I respect your autonomy. I am absolutely aware that you are a person that is in the driver's seat of your own life. And my goal is to support you to the best of my ability, financially, emotionally, and in as many ways as I can, and in as many ways that you allow me to. I'm hopeful that I can use my love, my generosity as a way to support you and help you grow and mature into an amazing woman. And I am 100% focused on that goal. And I'm also pleased that you've almost reached it. Oh, I'm shucks. I feel sad that I haven't been able to play the kind of role that I wished to, but I'm playing the long game here. And I'm sure that there will be some situation pop up in the future when I'll be able to take your hand and help you out of a tough situation. And that's not that I hope that you'll ever fall into a tough situation, but I hope that I'll be there, attentive enough, conscious enough, caring enough, thoughtful enough, brave enough to, help you get over life's bumps, right? The slings and arrows of everyday life. I'm here for you, girl. I really am. I'm here for you, heart and soul. 100% dedicated, 100% committed, 100% committed to your well-being, physical and emotional well-being. And let me tell you, the world that you're growing up in is a real challenge. There are a lot of obstacles out there. Society is really changing rapidly. The world now today is a lot different than the world that I grew up in. And I think as a teenager, the world is actually a lot more challenging than it was when I grew up as a kid. And my heart really goes out to you because there are a lot of challenges. Even the challenge of climate change. We really didn't have that when I was growing up. And here are the consequences of climate change are happening all around us when it comes to like reduced biodiversity, when it comes to the glaciers melting, weather changing. All this stuff didn't exist 30 years ago, although it did. If I'm sure it did, of course, but it didn't exist with the intensity that it does today. And the uncertainty about even the existence of future civilization didn't work. Wasn't an issue either. We had other things to worry about, like global thermonuclear war, which is still an issue, but not as severe as it was back then. Anyway, so in this challenging environment, I want you to know that me, with my expertise, with my years of understanding, my perspective, am here to provide any assistance. I'm available. I'm like only a mile away from where you live. Well, I don't know. I'm probably 3 miles away from where you live. So it would take me all of 15 minutes to get to your place. If you wanted me to, I could help you out of a jam. If you got into a car accident or something. I don't know. Anyway, I just want to let you know that I'm available. And I'm heeding your call. And I want you to know that it is 100% your choice about whether I'm involved at all. And that is a choice that I've honored for easily 8 years now. And I'm proud of my record of honoring your choices. it is part of my commitment to, it is my commitment to part of me being just an outstanding example to you of what a father can be. And I think I'm doing okay. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day today. I hope you have a fabulous tomorrow, an outstanding day after tomorrow, a terrific day after tomorrow, a stupendous day after tomorrow. And I'll talk to you again sometime later. All right. I love you, girl. Bye-bye.